and welcome back once again to Home Build Happiness. My name's Ron. We're here on the old homestead, and today we're going to build a fence. I'm going to take you through how to do it, and little disclaimer, there's probably a few better ways to do this, but where we're at, we have limited resources and limited know-how. This is my first fence, but we're going to get it done. I'm going to take you along for the ride, okay? There's a couple items that we're going to need for this. Right here we have a T-post driver, which is essentially a pipe with a handle on it. We've got 25 T-posts. We're going to be needing about 40 of them. I've got some reclaimed wood posts that we're going to be using for the corners and also the sides of our gate. And those will have to be treated. And then we've also got a few sticks of rebar, some twine, post hole digger, and a few other things. So what I'm doing right now is I'm establishing my corners. So this fence is going to be 400 feet linear, and that 400 feet is going to consist of basically 4 100-foot lengths. I'm not too concerned about this being squared up just because it's well within the boundaries of our property, and it's more for just security and to keep livestock out. And what I'm doing to measure, I just have a 50-foot extension cord. All I'm doing is pulling that an entire length, marking it, and then pulling it another length to make that 100 feet. And then I'm just staking it off with rebar, and I'm putting a couple rags on top just as a flag. All right, folks, let's get to work. All right, now that we got all of our rebar staked out and we know exactly what our boundaries of our fence are, we're gonna run twine along our rebar here. And we're gonna close in 3 of the corners. We're gonna leave 1 open for Laren when she gets home, just for us to drive in and out of here. But we're gonna tee up these 3 sides. We're gonna string them out. Then we're gonna start putting T-posts in. All right, so small caveat here. I know we talked about running all of our twine, stringing it up, and then running our T-post. Traditionally, you would not do that. A lot of folks would take and run their wooden fence post at the 4 corners first, and then string off of that, and then run their T-post along that. The reason we're not doing that is because we are using reclaimed wood. It's pretty dry. I need to go ahead and treat it with something that's not going to I need to go ahead and treat this wood with something that's going to work as like a rot prohibitor and inhibit any further degradation of that wood. So I still got to do that, and we got to let it sit out for a few days and soak in. So we're going to run the T-post now, and then we'll go back and we'll run our boundary post after that. All right, folks, so we got our line drawn. So what we're gonna do with this fence, every 10 feet, we're gonna install a T-post. Now, a couple things to know when you're putting these in. So the way the orientation works, if you wanna keep livestock in your gate, you wanna have that barbed wire on the inside where it's leaning against this post. If you're trying to keep livestock out of an area, you want to do it in the opposite manner. You want to have that stud, that backside facing inward, where it can apply pressure this way towards the inside, and you'll have your barbed wire running across the outside of that post. We're going to check for level. We'll make sure that we're level both this direction and that direction. And then we'll go ahead and drive into the ground, move 10 feet down, run the next one, and then we'll keep it going. Driver faced up, and I stand it up like this because it'll get sand in it if I put it straight down or laid on its side. I don't want to get sand blasted every time I go to set one of these. Set it here, bring this up. So if I just take mine, lean it right up against it, right about here. Give it about 4 drives, recheck it. My anchoring plate is not all the way in the ground, it's about 1 inch under right now. Level, and we're level. So now we'll go ahead and drive her home. So if you want to know why I'm not measuring the height once I get it set, I'm 5'6", so my eyes should barely be able to cross the top of it right here. That's what I'm using as my guide. So I can go right here, see that I can see directly over it. The center of my sight is right on the post. So we can call this one done. Not too shabby before noon. I'm feeling a little parched. Let's go get us a drink. Oh man, that really hits the spot. Hey folks, thanks for coming by and watching the video. If you haven't already, consider giving us a like and a subscribe. If this does anything for you, if it's funny, if it's entertaining, if it's educational, informational, your like and your subscription to the channel lets us know that we're putting out quality content, things that people want to watch. It also lets YouTube know so that they can go ahead and recommend this content to people in their searches and also as a recommended video inside of their playlists. It lets people know that we're doing the right thing. Also, if you check out the description in the video, you'll see various links depending on the video that you watch. This particular one has a link to Amazon. If you shop on Amazon, most of us do, including this guy. I got an item waiting to be picked up right now. You can click that link, buy whatever you want, and that's a way that you'll actually be able to support us without no additional financial impact to you. It helps buy more of this stuff. Man, I know I need it. Folks, let's get back out there. Durf, what do you think about home built happiness? You want to give your dad a like and a subscribe? Give you a can of tuna? Okay, let's get you a can of tuna. Alright, so we have all of our fence posts set up. It took, I believe, 36 or 37 posts to get everything done that we wanted to. Now, we got our old timbers that we've been treating for our corner posts. We're going to work on putting those in. And we're going to start down here at this corner. We're already set up to get started. And oh, there's Laren. Lauren, why don't you tell us some of the tools of the trade we got here?
We have a shovel, we have a small hand shovel here, a sledgehammer, post hole digger, quickcrete, drill, and some water.
And the water that we got, since we don't have to have clean water to lay concrete, we're actually going to be using our gray water from the trailer, and that's just basically sink water, shower water, stuff like that. Once we dig this hole down, we're just going to use that for the concrete. Now, one of the things to keep in mind here about doing a project out in the desert like this stuff is very hard. So once you get about 3-4 inches under this kind of silty soil, you're going to come down to rock, and basically clay that's mixed with dirt and hardened. It's very hard stuff. So I'm going to show you how we're going to break through that, and we will get a post in. Like I said, I'm hitting bottom here, so you can tell that there's going to be some very, very hard ground that we're hitting. All we want to do is get this soft stuff out of the way. So once we got a small hole made out, we're going to take our water. We're just going to drop a little bit of water in there, give it some time to sink down. Now, this is where I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned putting these things in. Use some rebar and just drive it down. You'll give that water somewhere to penetrate into.
Most of that's there ends up being hardened clay or a little bit of bedrock, so it is harder to get through.
And once you do get this driven down and that water gets a chance to permeate, all you want to do is go relax for a few minutes, come back, dig a little, basically wash, rinse, repeat until you get down to your desired level. The reason that we got a drill out here is once we sink this into the ground, I want it to have something to bite onto. I don't want this concrete and to be able to just simply slip up out of it. So I got a couple deck screws here, and you can use whatever you have laying around, just some old screws from your junk drawer, nails, whatever. Galvanized, non-galvanized. I know some folks will talk about the steel rotting and all this. This wood's like 60 years old. So all we want is just something for it to grab onto, and this is basically extra insurance on these. I'm going to take 3 of them.
Woody. What does Woody from Toy Story say? Oh, there's a snake in my boots.
So as you see, we just got 3 of these deck screws just drilled on in there. One of the things that I do use that I didn't talk about earlier is I have a 2-foot piece of rebar as well as a 4-foot piece of rebar. I use that 2-foot piece basically as a guide to know how deep that I'm going down. We'll finish this off, then we'll drop this guy in there, throw a little bit of concrete on it. And that should give us now, see how I'm hugging both sides? Yeah. See, I'm gonna call that good right there because it's right level with 2 feet.
Okay.
We're gonna take this quickcrete. Gonna open it up. It's gonna take us a bunch of water here. Just dump it right down in there. Then we'll put about half of this bag in there. Then we're going to take it. We're just going to rub her around in here. Set it up. Put a little bit more in there. Now this is where your little shovel comes into hand, your little hand trowel.
Baby shovel.
I'm gonna grab that. Throw that in there. Put a little bit more water in. The rest of our bag in. Take your hand trowel and just go down around your fence post, just like this. Just mix it on in there. You want to make sure it all gets nice and wet. We're going to take some of that hard earth clay that we just brought up out of the ground, go right back on top of it here. And we're trying to make it dry on top, basically. Yep. Once we get it so far, that's what these pieces of wood here are for. I'm going to put a piece there and a piece right there. We just want to take and tamp this down into the ground. And now we're going to move on, do the next one. the next thing we need to do is build a gate. And I'm not going to town to buy one. I got a bunch of spare wood right here, and I've used this wood back in, got a couple different states just for various projects. It's just wood that's been left over that I wanted to bring out here because of what the price of supplies going up due to COVID. It didn't seem sensible to throw it away even though we were moving. So I incorporated it into the trailer when we were towing the motorcycles out here, just as like wheel chocks and tracks to put the bikes on and stuff. Now we're gonna use it to build a gate. Oh yeah, this will be fun. So the next step is we're going to set some barbed wire up. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. We got all of our fence posts, our T-posts, and we got our wooden fence posts set, and they're dried in concrete. So we're going to go ahead and set up to do 5 strings barbed wire. Guys, out here in the New Mexico sun in summertime, I got some Columbia sleeves on, Omnifreeze Zero I think they're called, PFG Omnifreeze, and also a cooling towel. These things drenched in water, especially in the drier climates like this, they have kind of a swamp cooler type effect. They will keep you nice and cold. Like I've got goosebumps on my arms right now. They're so cold, my forearms are. Let me show you what you need to get this job started. When it comes to taking your barbed wire and rolling it out, what I've done is I've made a little jig here just using a piece of rebar and 2 T-posts. I'm not driving these very far into the ground. I'm keeping the anchors up out of the ground just so that I can remove these T-posts easily. It should be enough strength though to hold this barbed wire on, and then with my gloves on I'll grab it. I'm gonna run it the length of this fence line. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, then we'll cinch it down with a ratchet strap. Then we'll start putting our clips in. Alright, so I just want to show you guys what I'm doing when I'm running this. I'm going to wrap it around that fence post down there. I'm going to cut it and just very loosely wrap it around this post. And then I'm using a piece of paracord, like a snatch block basically. And I'm just going to take and, I'm not tying this up, I'm just wrapping it around where a barb catches it. And I'm going to cinch this in. And as you can see, it's not quite guitar string tight, but it's taut. And then we're going to go run our clip down at the center point. This is where we're going to be going. I'll pull the wire up there. And then these clips, just run them through. We're going to catch that side on there. And then we're going to catch that side on there, just like that. And then what I do with my pliers here, these are just standard pliers. I grab an end, I pull it over, I pinch it down, I take this side, I'm gonna snatch that side. And then for my own peace of mind, I come all around the back right here, and I'm just gonna cinch this neck down. And then once you do that, you'll see that it's nice and tight on here. It's not going anywhere. And they actually do make an implement for doing this that's not standard pliers, but this channel's not called Store Built Happiness. We use what we have at hand, and sometimes that's not a lot. Folks, now that we have our fence fully completed, it's time to work on this gate that we're building here. And what I'm basically doing, we just took and built this out of just old wood that we had, just so we don't got to spend money. It keeps the cost down. All we got to do is be able to keep livestock and stuff out. So out here, it ain't got to be pretty. It just needs to work. I got these hinge pins here, and this end drives into your post, as you can see down there. This end here, I'm going to drill a hole right there so we can just sink that guy into it. There'll be one on top, one on bottom, and then we'll also throw a chain around both sides of this just in case it does pop off, it doesn't fall over. Drink of water. What a way to end the day. What a way to end the day. All right, y'all, so you saw it, the first project here on the homestead. We got the fence complete. So, hey, it was fun, you know? We learned a couple new things, learned some tricks, had a lot of fun doing it, and we love being out here. So, if you haven't already, check us out at homebuilthappiness.com, also on Instagram and Facebook, and since we're finishing up the fence on, what is today? Mother's Day. Right here from the Home Built Happiness family, we just want to give a big happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. Doesn't matter if you're a married mother, single mother, or you're a mother to a fur baby. Happy Mother's Day to you. We'll talk to you next time.